Method showGameOverDialog is used to display a message indicating whether the user won or lost the game, and also allowing the user to press a button to indicate that they would like to start a new game. Now, a lot of what we're doing here you've already seen in earlier examples, but there are a couple of new features that I want to point out. So first of all, we create our dialog builder object, our alertDialog.builder object. We declared it final in here because we're going to be using the dialog builder variable inside of an anonymous inner class, and it's required that any local variable that you use in an anonymous inner class be declared final in the Java language. Now we've set the title of our dialog builder using a string resource, and we set it as set its cancelability to false, meaning the user can't simply hit the back button on their device to get rid of the dialog. They either have to interact with the dialog or just leave it on the screen. Now we set the message for our dialog using another formatted string resource. So again, we get our resources object, we use it to get a string with the resource ID specified here on line 418. That's a format string. And then the shots fired value is plugged into the first format specifier in that format string, and the total elapsed time variable is plugged into the second format specifier in that format string. We also set up a positive button, which is our reset game button, and we define our event handler, which is simply going to say dialog is displayed is set to false, because we're now dismissing the dialog if this button gets clicked, and we're going to call new game at that point as well. Now, when we display the dialog, it's important that we display it from the graphical user interface thread of execution. The dialog itself is not displayed on the surface view, it's displayed over the surface view and has to be done from the GUI thread of execution. The problem is this method, showGameOverDialog, is called from a method that in turn is called from a separate thread of execution. So to get the dialog to be displayed on the GUI thread of execution, we use the activity variable that we stored back at the beginning of this class, so that we can call the activity classes runOnUIThread method. Now this method receives as its argument a runnable, so you can see we're defining an anonymous runnable object here, and that runnable will then get slotted for execution on the graphical user interface thread. And when the run method of this runnable starts executing, we say dialog is displayed is set to true to indicate that there's a dialog on the screen, and then separately we tell the dialog builder to show the dialog, and now that displays the GUI for the dialog box on the screen, and it does so in the graphical user interface thread of execution.